Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In this video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about Deshaun Wastson. The news broke this morning. Deshaun Wastson is going to be out for the rest of the season with a broken bone in his throwing shoulder. When I saw this news, I was completely just like, what the fuck is going on? To all the other NFL fans of all the other 31 NFL teams, everybody's probably looking at this being like, man, this sucks. Some teams people were probably saying, wow, this is devastating for Cleveland. For the Cleveland fans, we are beside ourselves. I'm gonna talk more about it in this video. I'm gonna kind of go through, talk about the injury, what exactly it is, talk about him being out for the season. They did say he's gonna be back for next season, so we'll kind of discuss that a little bit. And I'm gonna talk about who is gonna be the quarterback going forward. Is it gonna be Deshaun Robinson? Is it gonna be PJ Walker? I've heard reports that it's gonna be PJ Walker going forward because he's already started a couple games this year. But then I saw on the Pat McAfee show where they were talking about, apparently it's a rumor, I'm not gonna trust it right now, but they're saying it could be Dorian Thompson-Robinson going forward. Maybe if they can actually get him going now and train him throughout the week rather than what they did last time with the Ravens, maybe he could be the guy. I'm gonna go full in depth with everything, so if you're going to enjoy today's video, make sure you do drop a like. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see here, it says Deshaun Watson needs shoulder surgery, out for the rest of the 2023 season. It says here Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson will undergo season-ending surgery to repair a fracture in his throwing shoulder, sidelining their franchise quarterback once again. It does say that they did an MRI on Monday, revealed that Watson had a displaced fracture to the glenoid in his right shoulder. Team doctors determined that Watson needed immediate surgery to avoid further structural damage. It is going to say that, and I quote, this is coming from Andrew Berry during his meetings, or his interviews. It says here, we are very disappointed and devastated for Deshaun, especially given that all that he's battled through and gone through medically this season. Berry said, we look at this as an incredible challenge and opportunity for our organization, quote. Now, the thing that's weird about this injury is, for those of you who have not kind of heard the details, he apparently got this injury in, I believe, either the first or second quarter of the Ravens game. This injury is not connected to the injury that he had before, the subscapulous tear that he had in his shoulder that he was dealing with from week 3 until about week 7. That is a completely separate injury. This injury is something different. That injury was a kind of like a muscle tear or muscle fiber tear in his shoulder. This is now a full-on bone break. They did also say that he also, within the broken bone, he also has a high ankle sprain. Deshaun Watson was interviewed today during his meetings, original meetings that he always does, or like the interviews he does in the locker room. And one of the things that kind of spoke out to me is that it seemed like he was okay playing with the high ankle sprain, which I think a lot of players in the league do. When it comes to like sprains, little pain, things like that, hamstrings, sometimes the guys will just play through that stuff. And Deshaun, when he was going back getting the MRI, it seemed like he left the game at the Ravens game. He left the game at halftime. I pointed out in that video when I was recapping the game. And it seemed like he said he went back, he got taped up, and he went back out there and he played the rest of the game. But apparently he, like I said, had this injury back in the second quarter. He was hurt, but somehow he went into halftime. I'm thinking in that moment he was running off pure adrenaline. The pain was kind of hitting him, but then it kind of subsided with all the momentum, all the adrenaline going in his system. And he went out there with I'm guessing, a broken bone piece of fragment just hanging off of his shoulder. He went out there and threw for 14 of 14 for almost 150 yards and a touchdown. And I'm not going to lie, there were some moments in that second half where I could tell there was something fucked up with the shoulder. Because when you saw him throw, usually when you see a guy throw, they have like a nice spiral, a nice throw on it. When he was throwing, he looked like he was like almost like yanking his shoulder. He was putting a lot of effort in to throw the ball. And I could just tell in that moment. And even earlier on in the year, whenever he did hurt his shoulder, especially in the Titans game, you could tell when he was throwing the ball, he's not putting a nice throw on it. He's like, he's really forcing the ball. And it's because with that shoulder pain, he feels like he needs to put a lot of effort into throw. And I'm guessing with a broken shoulder, it don't feel good throwing that football. And I want to say real quick before I kind of get into like the other details, this has to suck for Cleveland Browns fans, especially like myself, all the fans. I see it. I've already seen it all over Twitter. People are already going bananas. People are just freaking out saying like, why us? Why the fuck us? Like legit, it just feels like every single time, the quote I saw, it feels like we're climbing a mountain. And every single time we get to the top of this mountain, there's somebody up there with a boot just ready to just say, oh, hey, nice to see you. Get the hell out of here. It's like we came into the year, we thought we were going to be good. What happened week 1? Jack Conklin tore his ACL. There goes our right tackle. We get the win. We're moving on. Okay, cool. We can get through this. DeJuan Jones, you step in. He's looking good. Week 2, what happened? Nick Chubb, torn MCL and now torn ACL. He's done for the entire season. We already knew that. He's going to be back hopefully somewhere next season. Then a couple weeks into the season, we already know now, Deshaun Watson had the shoulder, the subscapulus. He goes out for a couple games. we are somehow winning games even with that injury. And here recently, Jed Wills, he gets put on IR, so now we're down our left tackle, our right tackle, our running back. We think we're down our quarterback, then he comes back, then he plays okay, then he plays great in the second half, and now it's like all of a sudden, yeah, he's done for the year. We just can't get ahead. I'm going to wrap up kind of talking about Deshaun Watson with saying this. Best of luck to him. Hopefully the surgery goes well. Hopefully everything goes good. My only question is, we saw you play in the second half with this injury. Like I said earlier, there's a part of me that says if it was just a high ankle sprain, he would have just kept playing this season, obviously. But with it being a broken bone, that's where it's like, I'm wondering how broken is it? And I know it sounds fucked up to say. Like, health comes before everything else. But in that moment, we've seen players in the past play with a lot worse injuries. And there's times where I kind of look at him and I say, that injury, how bad is it? Like 1 to 10. If you were to play through it, 1 to 10. 10 being, you're going to mess up your shoulder. You'll never play again, ever, ever, ever. 1 being, you're fine. How bad is it? If it's like a 7 and above, I understand. But if it's like 6, 5, can we just like maybe take a week off, see how we are, come back, see how it goes? Like I said, I sound fucked up saying that, but I'm just speaking the truth. And I say the truth because even Deshaun Watson, he said in his interviews, he wants to be out there. He wants to be playing. And when he thought he was going to be playing this Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers, when the medical staff told him, he looked almost like surprised, like, you gotta be kidding me. So now that we know Deshaun Watson is not going to be playing the rest of the season, let's kind of talk about who could be his replacement. Put the stats up on the screen somewhere down here, but you can see them right there. PJ Walker, he's played about 5 games. He got right now 49% completion percentage, 618 yards, averaging about 6.3 yards a game. He's got a touchdown, but the 5 interceptions, that sticks out. Then we look at Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He's been out there for 3 games. More or less, the 3 games that we're seeing is just him going out there for like quarterback sneaks. The one game that in particular we're going to talk about was that Ravens game where he lost 28-3. He had like 3 interceptions. When I saw that game, I was thinking to myself, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, you should not go anywhere near the football field ever again, because I was just pissed in that moment. Heat of the moment, I was mad. But after having days, weeks go by, looking back in that game, I realized, and everybody else has pretty much come out and said, it was just set up for failure for Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Because in that game, Deshaun Watson thought he was going to play. We went to the stadium thinking he was going to play. He went out there and warmed up like he thought he was going to play. But then about 11:30, think about it. The game started at 1. About 11:30 a.m., he pretty much realized, I'm not going to be able to play. So Dorian Thompson-Robinson had about 90 minutes to kind of warm up, get into a mindset, learn these plays, and remember, I'm the starter. I have to go play my ass off today. And what did he do? He did not play his ass off. He played his ass off for the other team. He helped them win, but not us. Now going forward, I'm just going to go and say, I think PJ Walker should be the starter. Yes, that 1 touchdown to 5 interceptions is bad, but here's the thing. In the Colts game, I don't care how bad you might think he looked, he made a couple of throws in that game where it's like, he made the throws when it mattered. And I think if Deshaun Watson would have been out there that entire game, especially with how he was feeling, health-wise, the shoulder, and then with him coming out there and throwing an interception right away, I think we won that game. With obviously the defense made us win that game, but PJ Walker, he made the right throws. And then same thing with the 49ers game. I think if Dorian Thompson-Robinson was playing that game, we 100% lost that game. And same thing for the Seahawks game as well. Now for both parties, here's how it can kind of go good and bad. PJ Walker, we've seen his goods, we've also seen his bads. I just feel more comfortable with PJ Walker. Now, if they said we're going with DTR for this week, you better already have him announced as a starter right now. You need to have him already out there training. You need to have him already out there practicing with the ones. You need to have him warming up. I mean, getting him connection with Amari Cooper, getting him connection with David Njoku, getting him connection with Elijah Moore. You need to get the connection going now. You need to make sure that everybody is on the same page. They're all talking. They're all communicating. Because I do not want to see another thing like we saw with the Baltimore Ravens. We are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a great front four. The Pittsburgh Steelers has a great secondary. They will eat this kid alive if we do not get him ready. And that's why I just feel like with PJ Walker, he's seen these fronts before. He knows kind of what to expect. Sure, is he probably going to throw an interception somewhere in there? Probably. Is he going to fumble the ball probably once? Probably. But even with those turnovers, I feel like he can bounce back from them. DTR, I don't know. The last thing I kind of want to talk about with Deshaun Watson is I've seen this all over different networks like ESPN, Fox Sports, and even some YouTube pages, and even TikTok, a few pages have said this. People are saying that Deshaun Watson, even though he's going to be out for these games, this is not a bad thing for Cleveland. This isn't a good or bad thing. Like, they're just going to stay the same. I have 2 questions for those people. What have you been drinking and what have you been smoking? Because there is little stats that show when Deshaun Watson's on the field, they are 5-1. When he's on the field, the pass game kind of improves a little bit. Now, I understand why the pass game improves because he's out there. We trust him more to throw the ball than we do like PJ Walker and DTR. But with that said, look at the numbers of wins. 5-1 when Deshaun Watson's on the field. 1-2 when he's not. I think there's going to be a little bit of a drop coming this week. And the reason why I say that is because look at like I said, look at the front we're playing with Pittsburgh. If Deshaun Watson's out there, when TJ Watt, when Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, when all these guys are usually coming in to get those sacks, Deshaun Watson has the mobility to try to escape, get out of the pocket. I realize he didn't do that well in the first time against Pittsburgh when we were in Pittsburgh, but this time around, if Deshaun Watson was fully healthy right now, I would say he'd be able to just maneuver, get around, get out of there, and he's been looking a lot better these last few weeks. That first game when we played him, he was still looking a little rusty, especially after that Cincinnati game where he didn't look too good either. But now, with these backups, DTR, PJ Walker, are they going to have the escapability to get out of the pocket when the pocket's collapsing? I mean, we'll see. But other than that, I'm going to wrap it up there. Like I said, Deshaun Watson, I hope he gets better. He'll be back next season. They already said he's going to be back next season. It just sucks as Cleveland Browns fans. We're already down both our tackles. We're already down a quarterback, and now we've been down our running back. We just are not allowed to have nice things, I think. Other than that, hopefully you guys did go on to enjoy today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you go ahead and drop a like. Very much appreciate if you do so. If you watched the entirety of today's video, thank you very much. And you're a Cleveland Browns fan, and you had a different opinion on kind of how you think this is going to go. If you are a PJ Walker supporter, a DTR supporter, let me know who you think the Browns should start and who you whenever they do start somebody, who you think they should have started. If they didn't start the person you thought they should start, leave a comment down below and kind of your whole opinion on kind of how the whole thing is working out right now. If you're a fan of the channel and all the content that I am posting here and you want to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so. And do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. I upload Cleveland Browns content here whenever it comes to news, updates, game reactions, everything Cleveland Browns sports related content here. But without further ado, this has been Donald Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.